So what do I think about the Central Park Five suing Donald Trump? A few things. Context. Okay, so a lot of people want to tie the Central Park Five in with Donald Trump. Really, it doesn't make sense if you know the history, if you know what was going on in 1989. This is pulled from a New York Times article from that time. It said, in the week in which a white investment banker was brutally beaten and raped as she jogged through Central Park, there were 28 other first-degree rapes or attempted rapes reported across New York City, the police said. First-degree rape involves either the threat or the use of violence. The attack on the jogger inspired angry cries for vengeance and increased police patrols, partly, some have argued, because those charged in the attack were minority group teenagers and the victim was an affluent white woman. But here's the kicker, right? Nearly all the rapes reported during that April week were of Black or Hispanic women. Most went unnoticed by the public. Ages range from 8 to 51. So this is the thing that I know about the history of rape in New York City in the 80s. The thing is that most of the rapes were happening FUBU, it's TUBU, to us, by us, right? So Black and Hispanic women, I am both Black and Hispanic if people did not know, but Black and Hispanic people were the victims of these rapes, and a lot of them were being raped by Black and Hispanic people. So the majority of the rapes that were happening in the city that were causing the outrage of the public were happening to Black and Hispanic women. This particular rape, the Central Park Five rape, was probably covered more than all of them. But you could say it's because it's a white woman. That's one possibility. But there's a lot of other possibilities. The whole fact that there were like 40 boys running in throughout the park and attacking multiple people. So we had lots of reports of that. Well, you can hear the calls of people who were calling the police on these kids that night. That's one thing. So that's unusual. It's not usual that you get 40 boys running in a park, beating up people, raping a woman. You know, that kind of thing is not normal, right? So something that's abnormal is going to get more hits or more views. When you're talking about 1989, they didn't have like the internet, but that's something you have to think about. So context is important. The other thing is loads of Black people were wanting these guys to fry. Lots of them. There was footage of Black people in 1989 who were upset because of this rape.
Even in the Black and Latino community, we that wanted to stand for them were in the minority. It was by no means a popular stand.
It could have been me, could have been her, could have been any of us. I ain't got no patience with none of them. I hope you get them.
I think those guys should be sent away for life.
And a lot of that is because they may have known people or knew of people who were raped in their own communities. So it's not crazy for Donald Trump, who, if you actually read the advertisement that he took out, he mentions people of all colors. He mentions several races: Black, Hispanic, Asian. He said he wants everyone to feel safe. That's what he said. And his advertisement was very similar to what people in our communities, Black, Hispanic communities in New York City, were saying at the time. That's just a fact. But now we fast forward to 2024 and we can use this as a bludgeon to hit Trump over the head during election time. It makes perfect sense. Now, the other thing is that this particular lawsuit comes at an opportune time. It's like the October surprise for Donald Trump, right? It's October and he gets sued by the Central Park Five, and it's the big thing. Well, they've been preparing for this for a long time. So the whole Netflix series came before an election. It just happened to come before an election last time. I think that these things are highly planned out and orchestrated. Now, the mentioning of the Central Park Five during the debate, that was Kamala Harris's doing.
This is the same individual who took out a full-page ad in the New York Times calling for the execution of 5 young Black and Latino boys who were innocent, the Central Park Five.
Trump was reacting to it, and his reaction, as flawed as it was, he said something about the victim dying or something like that.
A lot of people, including Mayor Bloomberg, agreed with me on the Central Park Five. They admitted, they said, they pled guilty. And I said, well, if they pled guilty, they badly hurt a person, killed a person ultimately. And if they pled guilty, then they pled, we're not guilty.
It didn't sound like that's what he meant. She was in a coma. I guess he was saying ultimately dead, basically, meaning at the time where he was talking about, at the time she was in a coma. So at the time he's thinking she's dead. If she's in a coma, that's what he's thinking. I think that is what he meant. But Trump has this thing where he does this. He's not as good as a communicator as, say, a Vivek Ramaswamy or someone like that, who is very good at articulating a point and saying it so simply that even stupid people get it, right? So Trump doesn't have those kind of verbal skills. So there's a lot can be lost in translation, and people start translating it for him. And of course, the left is going to use that to attack him. So we have to look at these things in context. I just don't get why Black people are so reactionary to these types of things. The other thing that I've said in the documentary itself is that, the Central Park Five essentially snitched on each other. I don't get or understand how Black people can be so anti-snitch. The same people that support the Central Park Five, by the way, are usually the same ilk of people who are anti-snitch, right? If you look at the Central Park Five's videos, their confession videos, and then you can say they're coerced. Even if you believe they're coerced, it should be even worse if you think they're coerced. If they were coerced, there's portions of that video where they're actually giving their friends addresses to the police. Friends who had not been caught by the police. If you know the story, there were 5 guys that were arrested at first, and it's not the Central Park Five. Only 2 of the original 5 that were arrested became the Central Park Five later. The other 3 were not part of that 5. So those first 5 guys began to talk, and they gave each other up. So this idea that they're great guys, it's not consistent with many of those Black folks' points of view. It breaks the consistency, right? It goes against what they believe. But here's the thing. A lot of Black people are willing to break their own values and morals when it comes to race relations. As long as they can feel like they're morally superior to white people, they will forget all their own morals in order to do so, and all their own values. And that is because there's an inferiority complex, which I've covered before in this channel as well. This is my opinion, of course, but you can take that with a grain of salt, or however you want to take it. But in my opinion, Black folks are breaking their particular value set, or what we've understood to be their value set, or what they propose, or what they basically display as their value set, in order to gain some kind of ground over white folks. And that's what this is about ultimately. For those people who are still pro Central Park Five and anti Donald Trump, and saying things like Donald Trump is a racist, and this is the proof. This is not proof that Donald Trump is racist. This is just ridiculous. Again, we go back and look at context. People, you need to get educated. Watch my video all the way 100% through on the Central Park Five. It really dives in deep into what actually happened on that night. And it's not this crap. There's another thing. Black folks are consistently attacking people like myself, and I'll probably get attacked in this video in the comments. Y'all take a look, but they won't watch the entire video. They'll just watch a few minutes, and then they won't even mention the fact that I mentioned them right now, but I'm gonna address them right here. But a lot of people will attack Black conservatives and say, oh, they're carrying the white man's water. You're just doing what they want you to, you're saying what they want you to say. Well, the Central Park Five is essentially doing exactly what whites on the left want them to do. They're basically going out there trying to get votes. They're trying to get your votes. They're doing it at this time when it's important, right? They could have sued Donald Trump a long time ago for whatever reason. Like they could have found a reason. They harped in on this dumb little part of him being in a debate. Like, how are you going to sue somebody for what they said in the debate? It doesn't even make sense. It's the October surprise. I'm thinking that they're thinking they're trying to hit Donald Trump with, and it's weak. It's not a strong play. I mean, they're doing poorly with black males, more poor than they normally are used to, and so they feel they have to do something. And if you've watched the Central Park Five and their Instagrams and paid attention to what they put out there, they are obviously being shown, look, you need to go and push black people to try and vote in the way that we like black people to vote. So why are they not getting attacked for carrying the white man's water? I mean, it's kind of ridiculous to me. But anyway, that's it for real now. I'm out of here, and yeah, appreciate y'all watching.